Welcome in to Stacking the Box podcast with Matt Verderame and Sterling Holmes. I am Sterling Holmes. Verderame, how are you?
I'm good. I'm fighting off a head cold, but we're gonna get it done. Listen, I'm gonna play a little hurt. This isn't baseball. I'm not gonna go on the IL for 8 months because I have a hangnail. So we're gonna battle through. I'm feeling okay. Feel better as the day's going on. How are you doing?
Doing well. I'm doing well. I am not fighting a head cold. Just had
Good
a
for
few
you.
beers last night watching that Monday Night Football game, but I'm feeling great. Feeling
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I sat there and watched it and drank multiple Coronas, and it was fun. That game sucked. Okay. And
Yeah.
by the way, I'm going to preemptively say this: the Ravens have the easiest schedule the rest of the season. They're going to be really good the rest of the way, and everybody's going to get really excited. And then they're going to get into the playoffs, and they're going to have to do 4 or 5 things in the passing game to win a game, and they're not going to do it. Like that is. Last night, everybody's like, Baltimore. And we get in this weird thing every time the Ravens play a game. And I don't want to get too off topic here, but like every time the Ravens play a game, they win. I feel like it's almost like announcer bingo that they've got to be, you know what? They got to pay Lamar. Got to get Lamar paid. Got to make sure Lamar gets paid. Has anybody talked about Lamar getting paid? What about Lamar? It's like he went 12 of 22 for $133. Like let's calm down. They won the game because defensively they rocked Andy Dalton all night long. Like, that's why they won the game. Lamar Jackson did virtually nothing for most of that football game, which, by the way, like, fine, didn't have to. But, and I'm not saying not to pay him, but can we have an honest conversation about Baltimore? Like, they, partially because of Jackson, partially because of the receivers. I think actually this year more receivers than Jackson, to be fair to them. They can't throw the ball. Like, they are going to get in January. They're going to get into January. I think they're going to win the division. They're going to play Kansas City, Buffalo, Miami, and guess what? Got to score. Got to throw the ball to win those games. And nope, it ain't happening because you can't do it. So I think Baltimore is a very good regular season team, but I still I look at them every week and I'm like, yeah, you're still throwing for $150. Like it's just not. It's not going to translate.
It doesn't help when Isaiah Likely is dropping multiple balls and no market.
It is not helping. No.
Yeah, no, not helping the whole situation there. But let's get into the NFC here. Is it time to bury the Packers and the Rams?
Bury them? I'm not sure. Bury them? Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not New York over here.
Hey, listen.
How do you say Bengals?
Bengals. I think is the proper term. Oh, learn how to speak.
Okay, lawyer or lawyer. Okay, come on. I can do this all day with you.
Well, we probably shouldn't. We'll bore the audience. I think it is time to put the Packers and the Rams in the ground. Okay, let's put it that way. The Packers are 3-6. They scored 9 points against the Lions, who have the worst defense in football. The Packers suck. Like sometimes it's just that simple. And I don't mean that to be like, like my honest analysis of them is they do not have enough weapons to threaten anybody. This leads to Rodgers doing 2 things: pouting, number 1, number 2, forcing the ball. And in this game, he threw 3 picks. Now, the 2 red zone picks really weren't even forced. One of them was just a god awful throw. Bakhtiari on that play where he's tackle eligible is wide open. If he makes even a halfway decent throw, it's a touchdown. Number 2, I think you watch that game and you just say, look, they don't create separation. Like they very rarely get themselves in a spot where some guy is open down the field. Now, I tweeted it out. I have the tweet up in front of me. But if you take Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, and Sammy Watkins, who are basically the guys who are going to replace Devontae Adams, those guys combined have less yardage and fewer touchdowns than Devontae Adams this year. And Devontae Adams this year has been good by his standards, but not like unbelievable. He's not having like Tyreek Hill's year. And I think the Packers and the Chiefs were constantly brought up in the same breath this offseason, right? Because Devontae Adams got traded away and Tyreek Hill got traded away. And the Chiefs brought in Valdes-Scantling from Green Bay, and they brought in Smith-Schuster. Now, well, certainly neither one of those guys is Tyreek Hill. Those guys are producing. Smith-Schuster's on pace for almost 1,300 yards, and Valdes-Scantling's on pace for the best year of his career. Like, they have been able to replace Hill because those guys they've brought in have worked for them. Sky Moore has not, but those other guys have. Nothing has worked for the Packers. Nothing. And what you're left with is a shell of an offense. And you're left with a defense that, quite honestly, I think plays the wrong scheme for its personnel. You have all these first-round players, and you're in zone constantly. I think they're done. And the Rams, to me, it's an easier. Look, the Rams they have no offense. It's Cooper Kupp and it's nobody else. They cannot function the way they are currently built. That team needs to be able to run the ball in McVay's system. They can't. They have no weapons other than Kupp. And if Kupp's not open every play, they're screwed. And that division is just too tough. I don't think they're going to beat out San Francisco or Seattle.
Yeah, with the Rams, we saw a little bit from Allen Robinson this previous game. He made a couple of very nice catches where I go, oh, are we starting to see Allen Robinson? But I'm also sitting here going, he wasn't getting any separation. That was just a phenomenal catch in a very tight window. How long is that going to last? That seems more like a one-off than a continued progression from Allen Robinson and Matt Stafford. Now, if Odell Beckham Jr. goes back to the Rams and he's the Odell Beckham Jr. of old, well, then I think they might have a little bit left in the tank. But that offensive line is going nowhere. That offensive line is horrendous. Matt Stafford doesn't have a lot of time, and they can't run. You're correct. The Rams, I have a lot of question marks about, but I think the defense is good enough to keep them in games. The Packers, they seem to be more done than anyone. They don't know how to use Aaron Jones. He might be the best wide receiver on that team outside of Alan Lazard. Use him then. If he's that good of a receiving back, use him in the slot. Do something with him. He's been the most effective when they use him as a receiver. Why do they go away from that? It makes zero sense.
I agree. And I look at this and sit there and say, you know what? You're not playing the way you should be playing. I agree with you there. I also think that when you look at the Packers, this is a team that should be really pretty dominant defensively, and they're not. Like, they're okay. They're not bad defensively. That's not their biggest problem. And now Rashawn Gary's out for the year, so that's a killer. But their next three games are the Cowboys, the Titans, and the Eagles. They don't win those games. Maybe they beat Tennessee. Maybe. I don't know. Can they score against Tennessee? So I look at the Packers, and I think the way I want to dovetail out of this is, what do you do with them going forward? Like, do you just roll this back and say, hey, you know what, or run this back and roll it forward and say, hey, listen, we're going to go with Rodgers again in 2023, and we're going to spend a fortune on him. I mean, if you're spending that kind of cap money on Rodgers, you're not going to be able to go out and spend a whole bunch of money elsewhere. You're not. Like, you're going to have to spend money to retain your own guys that you think are part of the future. And the other part of this too is, like, this is year 3 now for Jordan Love. Like, is he ever going to play? Is he a waste of time? I mean, they see him in the building every day, so I would imagine they have some idea of what they think he is. But I don't know. Like, if you're the Packers, are you really excited about Aaron Rodgers for the next couple of years? Or are you just like, you know what, if we can move him and get a bunch of picks, we'll do it. But then there's the other side of that is, like, his cap number is so big, who the hell's trading for him? So they're in a tough spot right now. They're in a really tough spot. I think somebody would trade for him, for the record. I mean, he's Aaron Rodgers. But I do not think it would be a bidding war. I think it would be one of these things where it's like, well, these 3 teams can afford him and have a use for him. I look forward, by the way, to the Saints being the team, $60 million over the cap. We're like, don't worry about it. We've got it covered. We'll do anything. It's fine. We'll play with 12 guys combined. We're good to go.
And with the way Russell Wilson's contract is working out in Denver, that's probably a knock against trading for Aaron Rodgers, just seeing how that has played out so far. Yeah. I get it. Aaron Rodgers is different, but still, that gives some teams cause to pause. So we're selling on the Rams. We're selling on the Packers. Yes. But are you buying the Jets?
I'm buying that the Jets are better than I thought they were. I'll be the first one to sit up here and say, hey, look, I thought this year they would still not be a good team. I thought they'd be better because I like their rookie class, but I don't believe in Zach Wilson. I still don't believe in Zach Wilson, by the way. I think he's going to be a huge impediment to them. But I was very curious to see Robert Saleh. And, okay, second year, better team. Are you a good coach? He's proving that he's pretty capable, right? And so you knew he could coach up a defense. Their defense is really good. Like, they can play defensively. My question's going to be with the Jets. They were able to beat the Bills by basically just running the ball down Buffalo's throat the entire game. Is that something they're going to be able to do week in and week out offensively? Now, here's the good news. You have 6 wins already, and you still have Jacksonville, Chicago, and Detroit at home. I mean, I think they're getting to 9. Now the problem for the Jets, the rest of their schedule is not easy. So if you look at the Jets' schedule here going forward, I mentioned those 3 home games. So put those games aside. Their other games this year at the Pats, at the Vikings, at the Bills, at the Dolphins, at the Seahawks. Like, I think the Jets are legitimately a playoff contender. Can you win one of those road games? Can you get to 10? The reason I say that is because if you look at the conference, tell me if you disagree with me. I think the teams that are, barring injury, guaranteed to make the playoffs: the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens, the Titans. Those 4.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the Dolphins, who I think are damn near close to being guaranteed to make the playoffs. And then you get into like the Chargers, the Bengals, the Jets, the Pats. 4 teams, 2 spots. The Pats already have beaten the Jets in their building. So have the Bengals. So the Jets might not be on the right side of these tiebreakers. Now, of course, they could break back with New England on the road, but they might have to get to 10 to get in the playoffs. Like 9 and a bunch of breakers might not work for them. So that's where I fall on them. But I'm very impressed with that win against Buffalo.
That defense is legitimately good. As a Kansas City guy, I was wanting DJ Reed to come to KC all offseason, and we're seeing what he's done in New Jersey, New York, same thing. Come on now. The New Jersey Jets sounds better anyway. The Jersey Jets sounds badass. Come on.
I got to tell you, I think people in New York would, for most of their time, please claim them. I don't think it'd be an argument.
But Sauce Gardner is outstanding. That entire defense, got to give a ton of credit. And you mentioned Robert Saleh. This has been, in my opinion, the one year you can point to coaching and say, yeah, it's been a huge difference maker around the entire NFL. Brian Daboll, Saleh. Look at some positives. You know what? Some negatives. Denver, Hackett, Josh McDaniels, Raiders.
Yep.
Brandon Staley, the AFC West basically outside of Andy Reid and the Chiefs. I mean, if you want to look at when head coaching really matters, this is the year to do it. I just want to give the Jets a ton of credit for what they've been able to do with, like you mentioned, very limited at quarterback.
Speaking of coaching, thoughts on the Colts currently? Yeah, pretty much. That's a universal thought on the Colts right now. I don't even know where to begin with the Colts. So I'll dive right in. I wrote a column, a reactionary column to this. I reached out to a whole bunch of people in the league that I know and just said, hey, basically, just give me your thoughts on what is happening. I had one source text me back that it was the most surprising hire he's seen in 30-plus years of being in the league. I had another source say that the only reason this makes sense is they're actively tanking. And I actually did have another source who was like, hey, good for Jeff. So, I mean, there's that too, right? I mean, a happier source maybe. All I will say is this. I have nothing personal against Jeff Saturday. I've never met him. He seems like a very nice man. Good. I hope it works out for him. If I was on the Colts coaching staff, I would be fucking furious. Like, you don't think anybody in this room is good enough to be an interim head coach of this football team. So you went and hired a guy who has no experience at college or pro levels in the coaching ranks. Oh, and by the way, if I have to listen to one more person tweet me and say, well, he's a Colts legend. Yeah? So's Reggie Wayne, and he's on the staff. Okay? So Cato June was a really good player. He won a Super Bowl. Man won a Super Bowl. Like, this idea that, they had to go with Jeff Saturday because he's an interesting pick is insane. That's nonsense. It's a ridiculous hire. And if I was a coaching staff, I would be pissed.
Yeah, is Edgerrin James now going to be the offensive coordinator? Is he the running backs coach now? Like, This makes zero sense to me. I'm with you. I would be absolutely furious if I was on the coaching staff. I know it was Irsay was coming out and saying, well, he doesn't have any experience in the college and NFL level. So we actually like that. He has no preconceived notions.
Jim, I was available. Pay me the money. I mean, I would have gone in there. I would have screamed about how much I hate analytics. That would have been fine. Yeah. Could have brought me in. Hey, I'm right here, man. Indy, it's a short drive from here.
I will say this. Will you agree, though? If it's just the rest of the season, it's not going to be the worst thing in the world. This is a guy you're basically throwing out there to get fired. But if they sign him to a extension and he's back next year, then I would say this is an absolute disaster. And you're going to have a lot of the coaching staff up in arms.
You know what? I slightly disagree. The fact that you did this makes me very concerned about your ability to make a decision on the next head coach. Like, how do you not look, if you don't want to give Gus Bradley the job as the interim guy, even though he's been a head coach, that's fine. Like, he hasn't been a good head coach. I have no issue with that. How about giving a guy like Bubba Ventrone a shot, who's been a special teams coordinator for years, right? Like, we saw this with the Raiders last year when Gruden was essentially, I mean, he ultimately resigned in disgrace, but he fired, forced out the door. They brought in Rich Bisaccia, who was a special teams coordinator, who nobody ever thought like, oh, Rich Bisaccia is going to be a really hot name in the market and be a head coach. He did a great job. How much privately right now do you think the Raiders would like to have Rich Bisaccia right having the head coach of that team? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and bet they'd have a better record than they have right now. Also, speaking of the Raiders, Mark Davis must be furious that Jim Irsay beat him to the punch to make the most ridiculous hire imaginable, right? Like, right now, Davis has got the whiteboard out and he's just writing like, all right, could it be like, who do we have? Who's an alumnus who we could bring in here? Can we get Jerry Porter to be the head coach of the team? Like, who do we have? And then he's got to think about it. Like, nobody's been good for 20 years on the Raiders. So he's like, all right, maybe Nnamdi Asomugha. Like, we got him. Like, maybe we bring Michael Huff in? Like just you name it. There's just anybody. Do we go back to the 90s? Or we go, what about Jeff Hostetler? What's he doing? We bring him in? So the Raiders have to just be irate. And the best part of this, the first game Saturday is going to coach is against the Raiders on Sunday. Like, the amount of hilarity that could come out of this game is an all-time level, right? Like, I mean, anything's possible. The Raiders could beat them by 50, and then you're like, the Colts, ridiculous. Or somehow, like, Saturday wins this game. and it's against the coach that quit on them before he even became the head coach. Like, it's awesome. Like, I can't wait to sit down and watch what a beautiful train wreck that's going to be one way or the other.
Well, that happens. I do think Davis might hire Darius Hayward-Bay, really get into it. Just really go all in when it comes to the most random hire possible. Get Darius Hayward-Bay.
Yeah, Robert Gallery, everybody.
All right, let's look into the future. Number one, at 5-4, will the Cincinnati Bengals make the playoffs?
I am compelled to say yes, because I believe in the coach and the quarterback, and I think they're a really talented team. Their schedule is really hard. Really hard. Ravens, Titans, Chiefs, Bills, at Tampa, for whatever you think that game is. That's hard. Like those are 5 games. Like, none of those are easy. Okay, Chiefs and Bills are at home. It's the Chiefs and the Bills. Titans are on the road. Ravens at home, Bucs on the road. I mean, if they went 2-3 in that stretch, like, you're not getting above 10 wins. Now, maybe they're better than that. Maybe they go 3-2, something like that. But I'm just saying, if they were to go 2-3, and they also play the Browns again, who kill them every time they play them, and Deshaun Watson will be in that game. So this is not an easy schedule here for Cincinnati. I say yes because they hold the breaker on the Jets. That's a huge thing. They also, by the way, play against New England in Foxborough, which is a huge game, which I think they will win, so they would hold the breaker there. I will say yes, but there's a real chance they don't get in.
Yeah, I lean towards yes. They're the most inconsistent team probably in the NFL. We've seen the highest highs, the lowest lows. Eventually, Jamar Chase is coming back this season, and that offense looks typically different with him in it. I was someone who was not bought in to the Bengals and what they did last year, continuing to build off that, right? I think they had their chance. This is a good team, but not a great team. But I think they're good enough to make the playoffs. They're dangerous because the offense is so good. That offensive line is still a massive question mark. But when it comes to what they can do, they're one of the few teams that could go, blow for blow offensively with the Bills, with the Chiefs, with any other team in the NFL.
Dolphins.
And that makes the Dolphins, and that makes them dangerous.
Fair enough.
Let's go to the second into the future. More likely to win a playoff game, the Vikings or the Niners?
So the Vikings are going to win the division and be at home. The Niners may win the division. They may not. They're a game and a half back in Seattle. I think the 49ers are. I know this is a very odd thing to say about a team 7-1. I don't know if the Vikings are good. The Vikings have all these really, really, really bad defensive numbers, but they just keep finding a way. I worry about the Vikings in a playoff game. They might even play the Niners, depending on how everything shakes out. I think the Niners are built for the playoffs. Like how I started the show by saying the Ravens, I think, are a great regular season team, but in the playoffs just scare the shit out of me. The Niners, I think, are a good regular season team, but they're great in the playoffs because they can play all kinds of situational football. They've got stars all over the place. Defensively, they're really good. They're the kind of team you want no part of in the playoff game. That team is just built for January to win games like that. I think, and by the way, Minnesota could absolutely win a playoff game or two, but I would take the Niners, who I think are the more talented team. I think even though the record doesn't show it, I think are ultimately the better team.
Yeah, I want to say both. I feel like both win a game in the playoffs, but I'm going to lean Minnesota.
Okay.
Wild to say this. I'm starting to trust Kirk Cousins.
Oh,
and I can't wait for him to throw 4 interceptions next game.
Yeah.
There's something about that team. They're rallying around Kirk Cousins. Everyone on that team feels like they are the best team in the NFC. Everyone on that team, if you're watching them from afar, that's a lot of camaraderie going on right there. Say what you will about it. They're all bought in. They think that this is their season. And what is a wide open, for the most part, NFC, the Rams, not good. The Bucks, not good.
Fair.
The Packers, not good. The Niners, we've seen them play well at times, but it's Jimmy G. They tried getting rid of him this year. I know everyone's like, well, he has playoff experience. He's been to a Super Bowl, and the Niners still said, kick rocks, pal. That has to account for something. The Vikings, I just feel like they have a lot going for them right now.
I will say, to your point, to bolster your case, I was texting with a NFL source. I'm trying to think if I can say more than that. I was texting with somebody who has been in the league for at least 3 decades and asked about the Commanders potentially being up for sale here with Dan Snyder, because I wrote my column about it on Monday. And I just said, what are your thoughts essentially? What are your thoughts on if they sell the team? And he's like, I think it's like Lucy with the football, right? I don't think he's actually going to sell the team, but if he does, it's the biggest culture upgrade in the league since Mike Zimmer was booted out of Minnesota. I was like, Mike Zimmer caught a pretty wicked stray there. It had nothing to do with I knew you were talking about the Vikings. So, and this person is pretty connected with Minnesota. So I was like, okay. So Kevin O'Connell, kudos to him. As Kyle actually says in the chat here, I was like, all right. And I think, you saw that meme going around now with Cousins in the plane with his shirt off, which led to the unfortunate incident of Adam Schefter with his shirt off during Monday Night Football. It was listen, nothing against Adam. Man, it's not in terrible shape or anything, but just didn't expect to see him shirtless at the Superdome last night. But yes, I think that's I think where they are. I think Kevin O'Connell's given them some new life and a new attitude, and it's working for them. So kudos to them.
Well, let's get into the future. Number 3. Who is the MVP right now?
Most of the year, I don't want to say all because I can't remember. I'm not all about week one MVP. I just can't get that. Okay, most of the year, if not all of it, I've had Josh Allen as MVP of the league. I think he's been the most dominant. I think he's been overwhelming at times. That choice for me changed Sunday watching the games because Allen. I gave him a pass against the Packers. You're winning by a bunch in the second half. You throw a couple picks. You're a little bored, maybe. All right. You play the Jets in a game that's pretty nip and tuck, and you throw 2 killer interceptions. In the last 2 games, he has 4 picks, and he's fumbled twice. This is now becoming a problem. The only quarterback who has thrown more interceptions this year than Josh Allen is Matt Ryan. I mean, that matters. That's a real problem. My vote right now after Sunday night would be Mahomes. Mahomes, it's a weird thing. It's a really weird thing to say, considering the guy had 509 total yards on Sunday night. I don't even think he played that well for the duration of the game by his standards. But every time they needed a play out of him, he made a play. And a lot of times out of thin air. 3rd and 17, I'm running for it. 3rd and 9, I'm gonna juke Jeffrey Simmons out of his cleats and put it in the end zone. 2-point conversion, we've got to have, not a problem. 3rd down in overtime, I'm gonna run out to the right, stop, backpedal, and then just wing a ball 30 yards down the field to Noah Gray. He's got more touchdown passes and more passing yards than anybody else in football. Mm-hmm. He's right at the top of yards per attempt, right top. I think he's top 5. QBR, I believe he's 2nd. I mean, and by the way, for rushing yards for a quarterback, he's 8th. It's not like he's only running occasionally. To me, he's the MVP of the league. Everybody thought when they lost Tyreek Hill, this is going to look really different this year. This is going to be weird. He's on pace for 5,500 passing yards. He might set the record. He to me right now is the MVP of the league.
I think Josh Allen's 3rd.
Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
Fair enough.
You mentioned.
I might even agree with you there. I might be with you there.
You mentioned yards per attempt, right? Mahomes 7.9. Guess who's above him?
Hurts.
8.5. Right? And if you're going to talk about completion percentage, Mahomes 66, Jalen Hurts 68. And I get it. He's not throwing the ball as much as Mahomes is, but what he's doing with his legs as well is just out 326 yards on the ground. I think it was 6 touchdowns rushing. If you look at the passing numbers, they don't jump off the screen, right? But he has over 2,000 yards passing. He has 12 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's taking care of the ball. They've not lost. I want to go with Mahomes, especially after Sunday. What he did, he put the team on his back. Jalen Hurts has put the team on his back. I came into the year saying Jalen Hurts is going to be the guy that holds the Eagles from making a deep playoff run. I was wrong. Jalen Hurts looks like an MVP. The arm is better than I expected. The legs are as good as expected. He's keeping the ball out of harm's way. A.J. Brown, say what you will. I mean, if you want to say A.J. Brown, where's the A.J. Brown for the Chiefs and Mahomes? You'd probably say Kelce. Travis Kelce, right? Yeah. But Jalen Hurts now has weapons, and he's using them. He's trusting them. I feel like I have to go with Jalen Hurts, at least until the Eagles lose a game.
That's fair. That's totally fair. First of all, they by some miracle go 17-0. He's MVP. Okay, but right now to me, Mahomes is the most irrepressible player in the sport. Just over and if you're a Titans player, coach, you have to be watching him going, son of a pitch. Just tackle it. Just anything. It's watching him run on that 3rd and 17. It's funny because it's not Lamar running, right? It's not Jalen Hurts. It's not Kyler Murray. Mahomes runs in a way that you never think he's going to get there by the optics of it. But if you're a Chiefs fan and you've watched him your whole life, or his whole career, if you've watched him, he's going to get it because he just always gets it. When he took off on 3rd and 17, my initial reaction was, all right, they're going to punt. And then he got about halfway there, and I was like, he's going to get it. You can just see the angles. You're like, he's going to pick. And then I swear to God, if McKinnon had just gotten a block on that guy around the corner, he might have gone the distance. Like, I don't know that anybody would have caught. It would have been one of the greatest runs of all time. Like, so I don't know what it is that when he sees the Titans, he turns into Gale Sayers. But it is listen, it was an impressive performance. He's single-handedly the reason, at least offensively, they won the game. Their defense was great in the second half. But yes, right now, to me, he is the MVP of the league. He has been incredible.
He runs like, if you ever play basketball for like 2 hours and you're hopping out of the gym and you kind of have that little waddle going, that's what he runs like. Yeah, you're kind of cramping, and he still gets past these dudes. Mahomes is incredible. If he wins MVP, I will have no reservations. Again, it comes down to, people like to say, Jalen Hurts, who have the Eagles played? I'll hear it, but they're playing who's on their schedule. They can't help that. They're winning. I will never knock a team for winning in the NFL. The Chiefs lost to the Colts. You can lose any given Sunday. It happens. Yeah. I think they're neck and neck, though. I truly think it's a neck and neck situation. Both find ways to win in different situations. With Mahomes, though, we have at least seen a game where he puts the team on his back to win the game. Have we seen that with Jalen Hurts yet?
No, because I got to be fair. I think the Eagles roster is all around better than the Chiefs roster. They're a much better defensive team. And yet, if they played each other, I would pick Kansas City to win the game.
Same.
Because for one reason. Like, after what happened in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, if they get back to the Super Bowl with him, I don't care who they're playing. I just think it's going to be one of those games, as the late, great Therese Peller would say, it is over my dead body. Like, where it's like, I don't care. Just give me the ball. That might be the first time the Chiefs just don't run the ball once in an entire football game. Like, he's just audibilizing out of every run they have. I don't care. We're throwing it 90 times. And I got to tell you, if you're the opposing coach, wouldn't you be like, shit? Like wouldn't you be like, oh my God, please run it? Like, I've thought about that before. Is there ever going to be a game with him where he's just like, I don't care. I'm done watching us run dives into the line of scrimmage. I'm done with this. Like, I'm not going down.
We saw it this Sunday. Right. Towards the game, at the end of the game, he goes, we're not running. If we are running, it's with me. I am the one running the ball.
In a weird way, we got Ben Heisler coming up here in a second. In a weird way, I had a weird tinge of hope when you might not. I don't know if you remember this play. It was like the last drive before they went down and tied the game. And it was third down or whatever. And he just launched the ball to Sky Moore into double coverage. But like he had a look at his face. It was like, fuck this. And the next drive they came out and he was just like, I'm running for half the yardage. I'm to the point. I'm so sick and tired of us not getting open. Like, I am just going to put everything on me, and I don't care what it takes, and I'm just going to will us down the field. When he threw that ball, there's a part of me that was like, oh, God, he's so frustrated. Then there's another part of me that's like, oh, he's really frustrated. Like, this is now just going to be him being like, I'm done with this. I'm done. Andy can take the headset off. We can leave the running backs in the locker room. It's fine. I've had enough. All right. Let's bring in Heisler. Let's bring him in. BetSided editor, of course, managing editor at Benny Heis on Twitter. Sir, how are you doing on this lovely Tuesday?
It's a lovely Tuesday, lovely day to get things going. Good to be on with you guys. Had another nice week on the show. We went 2-1 against the spread. 2-1-1, I should say, against the spread on our first push of the season. Thanks, Rams. For doing a great job protecting that lead late in the game against Tom Brady. Just sometimes the narratives write themselves, and the Rams are finding a way to write a strange new narrative in a season that is continuing to unfold very, very quickly for them.
The second that Cooper Kupp probably could have gotten the first down and then slid just to stay in bounds on that second down play right before the end of the game, I had a deep premonition that Brady was going to get the ball back, come down the field. Like, it's just, the Rams stink, but we've covered that already ad nauseum. But yes, they caused us to push. Very selfish of them. But we do, as you said, 2-1-1, another good week.
Yeah, we'll take it. This is an interesting week 10 as well. There's obviously a very intriguing matchup between two very quality teams, and it's starting to get a little murky between Minnesota and Buffalo. We'll see whether or not Tampa is actually making a legitimate turnaround. They're in Munich this week against Seattle. The Chicago Bears, my Chicago Bears, over the last 3 weeks have the best scoring percentage on drives over the last 3 weeks in the NFL. Overs in Bears games have gone 3-0 in the last 3 weeks. Their team totals are 3-0. Like, I do not want to wake up from this dream, fellas. I know that they've been losing these games.
I was going to say, I think Kelsey's just still losing, but yeah.
I don't care. Like, I was thinking about it, like I've laid in my bed late at night for 30 plus years, like wondering when it's going to be my team's turn to have a quarterback that can do what your guys' quarterback is able to do. And
I've been there.
Yeah. Like, it's a very lonely feeling. And when you finally think you have something, like, again, this year doesn't matter with the exception of whether or not they determine whether or not he's the quarterback of the future.
Yes. 100%.
They've determined that. And you're already starting to see Vegas start to get a sense of that as well, which we'll go over in a little bit.
I agree with you. I think I'm happy for you and your brethren who are finally not suffering through watching just absolute crap at the quarterback position. So it's impossible.
From the 1950s being the guy that everybody refers to as the best quarterback in your organization.
Jay Cutler. Come on, baby. Jay Cutler smoking a cigarette? Come on.
Well, maybe iconic, but not the best.
Sid Luckman, like, mostly, by the way, in the 30s and 40s. Like, I mean, and yet Sid Luckman, go through your history lesson, kids. He was a great player. Like, he was awesome. But that's neither here nor there. But yes, when you haven't eclipsed him in 70 years, it's a problem.
Right.
All right. What do we have for bets this week? What are we looking at?
So do we want to go with the games that we find the most unique or interesting to wager on, or do we want to just go right into our best bets for the week?
No, let's go to the unique ones first. Let's just do what we normally do.
Okay. All right. So a couple of these will overlap, but I think the most intriguing one on the board for sure is Minnesota on the road against Buffalo. And now with the health status of Josh Allen very much up in the air, Vegas has already reacted substantially to this. This was 7.5 when it first opened on Sunday afternoon. It is now down to 6 at several sports books. Depending on where you look, you can probably find it at 6.5. I jumped on this one early as part of a teaser with Buffalo, but I still have some concerns here, even though I'm basically getting them at 1.5. Not having Josh Allen and I guess moving to Case Keenum is sort of the real question here. Like, how many points is Josh Allen on the field worth relative to Case Keenum in a terrific offense with a defense that is still very good, but just they kind of let things down last week against it. They should have smoked the Jets purely from getting pressure on Zach Wilson. They didn't do it. Wilson didn't turn the ball over. At some point, you have to start wondering whether or not Buffalo, in these spots where they should be destroying you, they tend to let teams kind of hang around. The Chiefs have kind of done that this year as well. Let's start with the quarterback spot. Like, if we're looking at it from a point perspective, it's moved about 1.5 from where it was with Allen down to Keenum. Do you think that's too many points? Do you think that's not enough points? I think this goes down probably as much as maybe 5, 4.5. And that's even with the public not wanting to bet on Kirk Cousins.
Ben, if they don't have Josh Allen, they should be an underdog in the game.
Correct.
Really?
Yes.
Even at home?
Yes.
I don't care where they're playing this game. I mean, I would argue that along with Baltimore, nobody relies more on their quarterback to do everything. That team won't function offensively if he's not on the field.
Yeah.
They can't run the ball. He is their only ability to run the football. They have no ability to Case Keenum is going to throw the ball in this game against Minnesota. I mean, I understand Minnesota's defense isn't great. I get it. But Case Keenum, man, woof. Like, Minnesota should be a favorite in this game if Josh Allen's not there. And defensively, the Bills are good. That's fine. The Bills are beat up to all hell in the secondary.
Yeah, they are.
And they're playing against a team that can throw the ball. One thing about Minnesota, they have weapons all over the field. And by the way, the last 2 weeks, the Bills are getting killed on the ground. Well, they have Dalvin Cook there. Like, the Bills are going to give up some points in this game. And if they do, now, I think if Allen's there, they can just outscore Minnesota. But I do not see a game where if Case Keenum plays that Minnesota shouldn't be favored. That's just my 2 cents.
100% agree. If it's Case Keenum, Minnesota money line easy. If Josh Allen plays, even if it's 6, I still think I like the Vikings. I'm buying in to the Vikings Kool-Aid right now. I understand it's kind of been my MO in the past, I don't know, 4 weeks, but
Yeah.
I'm fully bought in. Wait, what time's the game?
It's a noon Central, 1:00
Oh,
Eastern.
yeah.
In Buffalo.
Kirk Cousins going off. Yeah, it's not prime time. Lights not
No
too bright.
flex.
Yeah. Come on now. Taking the Vikings money line.
All right. So all very legitimate points. I still would give Buffalo a slight edge, even with some of their issues that they're having on defense, because I don't think Minnesota's defensive issues have gone away. And again, remember, this is still a team that was down for a while to Washington and gave up some pretty ridiculous drives to Taylor Heineke in the process. I tend not to overreact to a lot of the big line movement. I think if anything, depending on how far down this goes, there's an opportunity for value here with Buffalo. But based on what the two of you guys are saying, if you're on the Minnesota side, yeah, I would put in this bet now, like right now before the line starts to move. 6.5. That's a good number to be on it if you feel like that's a team that's deserving to be a favorite on the road. Fascinating game. We've also seen the total move quite a bit in this matchup as well. I am on it at under 48.5. I think it was at 49.5 when it first opened. Again, I'm assuming that Keenum is likely going to be playing. And now that number has moved all the way down to 46 and 45.5. So we're able to get it on the better number there. I know that you mentioned that with Keenum, that's not going to be that's going to be a concern for them. So that's obviously the top game. Again, we'll monitor the status of Josh Allen throughout. Next is the Munich game. Tampa Bay with their win. Again, still plenty of issues, but now it's a more compelling matchup. Seattle's good. Seattle is continuing to find impressive ways, and they're hitting on their draft picks, and their defense since the first 4 weeks of the season has been, I don't want to call them elite, but they're ranking top 10, especially in their ability to slow teams down in the passing game. I mentioned, like, it's remarkable to see an entire draft class hitting as early and as often as what Seattle's has done this year. Walker has been down and out the last couple of weeks, but I'm not concerned about him. How do you evaluate this matchup? Because I look at it and say to myself, okay, Seattle continues to be underdog. They continue to win as underdogs. I took them last week as a dog at Arizona. That ended up working out. But we've seen this line move from Tampa to -1 to -2.5. So the Sharps are all over Tampa Bay as if they're about to rebound for the second half of the season. My question to you guys is whether or not you're buying Vegas's thoughts here that Tampa is actually back and ready to go ahead and be the more rational favorite here.
Is Tampa back? Like, I'm an idiot, and so I'll take you when it comes. I'll take your thoughts with gambling here. But I watched every snap of that Bucs-Rams game. I am now in court-ordered therapy based off of watching that game. Tampa Bay's awful. But the only reason they won that game is the Rams are just brutal and couldn't be bothered to do anything offensively the entire night. I'll roll with it because I'm confident in you, Heis. I think the Seahawks are going to beat them. The Seahawks are good. The Seahawks are playing well defensively. They're scoring a bunch of points. Tampa Bay is a wreck. Now, listen, there's going to Germany. Does that just kind of level the playing field because it's just such a weird thing and it's a huge travel? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it does. But, man, Tampa's bad. Tampa's really legitimately bad. I think Seattle's going to straight up beat them. I think Seattle's going to win by like a touchdown, truthfully.
I agree. I mean, first off, Mike Evans has the yips, it looks like. Is he eating
Yes.
buttered popcorn before each game? Ever since the golf lesson situation came out, dude can't catch the ball. Scotty Miller also had a touchdown in the end zone. He actually had a very nice game for the most part.
God.
Hit him right in the dome, right in the face mask. Almost got stuck in there. Like, they can't catch the ball. DK Metcalf, somehow, I have no idea. We thought he, tore his ACL, gets carted off the field, and he's like, no, guys, I'm back next game, and I'm catching touchdowns. So he's been incredible. Tyler Lockett has had a very nice season. I'm going with the Seahawks. We thought they had a horrible roster, mostly based on Geno Smith, right? Geno looks legitimately solid. He's played better this year than Tom Brady. I know the name Tom Brady still gets you hyped up. Geno's been better than Tom Brady by a fairly wide margin this season.
It's one of those games where I think so many of us look at the matchup and say, Seattle deserves to be the favorite here.
Right.
And then you have to answer the question, well, why aren't they? What do the sports books know? What do the sharps know that we don't? They clearly know something because this line has shot up 1.5 points almost within a day. So that was part of the reason when I saw it open up Tampa Bay at -1. I think they anticipated a move. And then maybe if it gets up a little bit higher, they know that the public is going to come in on Seattle. Seattle's delivered for them all year long. The public likes to go with teams that have been consistent for them. It's part of the reason that they bet on the Cowboys and Packers more than ever before when those are two of the top, public teams that people bet on last year. It delivered. So I don't see the public moving away from Seattle at this point. And maybe that's where I think they're going to get some of that money back. But early returns right now are saying get on Tampa Bay before this number moves to 3. I get your guys' perspective of Seattle is the better team, and they've been more consistent really throughout the entire year, especially with the defense starting to make some strong returns. But maybe there's an argument that Seattle's maybe this is your sell high point for a team that still is lacking in the talent department, even though their guys have been playing well.
So 2 things. One, to Sterling's point, Scotty Miller. I thought Brady was actually going to commit murder right on the field when Miller dropped that ball, and he would. I don't think there's a jury in the world that would have convicted him. Secondly, Ben, to your point about the sharps must know something we don't. Obviously, they mostly do, but they've been wrong with the Seahawks team at times. Like last week, we sat here and I was like, why in God's name are they an underdog to the Cardinals? The Cardinals suck. Well, they went out and they baptized Arizona for the second time in a month. Like I think there's this belief that Geno Smith just can't continue to do this. Well, he's doing it. He's good on deep throws. He's good. Doug Farrar of USA Today tweeted this out. He's good on deep throws. He's good on boundary throws. Like he's good on throws beyond the sticks. He's good. Like I know it's crazy. He's been terrible his whole career. He's good now. I think at some point you just have to sit there and say, I'm to the point now because we're past the halfway demarcation line, right? Like we're into week 10. Tampa, the Packers, the Rams, they stink. Like I don't need to see any more of these teams. They stink. They're not good. Seattle's good. Maybe it doesn't make sense in like a historical perspective based off of what we've seen.
Yeah.
Seattle's a good football team. So I think Seattle's getting a little bit of a short end of the stick here.
All right. You can get them right now plus 2.5. If you think the numbers are going to continue to move, I would say wait on Seattle. As the week gets closer in, maybe that's when you start to see a little bit more of the public backing the Seahawks. Maybe that line starts to move a little bit more. But based on the early movement, this wouldn't surprise me if this game goes to 3. And then if you're a Seattle bettor, that's the line to pounce on. So it sounds like you guys are on the Seattle side. I get it. I think I like Tampa much more when I got them.
Tampa wins by 30.
Yeah, seriously, Ben. Why do we listen to us, Verderame? We're always wrong.
It was stupid.
Listen.
I'm
also talking. You guys could also we could both theoretically win if you take Seattle and the number goes to 3, and I got Tampa Bay at -1. If the Bucks win by 2, both of us win.
Yeah, if I get Powerball right tonight. But
this is a lot more likely to happen than the Powerball.
Have you seen me on these gambling things? It's not more likely.
Okay, fair enough. Final one on the board that I think is noteworthy, even though if we're on the subject of bad teams, and it's interesting because 2 of these games feature bad teams this year. Dallas Cowboys on the road against the Green Bay Packers, the battle of public teams in the NFL, 2 of the best teams against the spread a season ago. I was looking it up to try and see how good home teams have been straight up for an article I'm writing a little bit later on this week. The best team over the last 3 years at home by far and away has been the Green Bay Packers. The problem is that the Packers are a disaster right now. And I put something out on Twitter about Aaron Rodgers basically calling out his entire team from a few weeks ago, saying guys need to get their first team reps cut if they continue to make mistakes on the field, get other guys more reps. And he also threw 3 interceptions. 2 of them went off of players' helmets. Aaron Rodgers, I don't know whether or not he looks like the MVP again if Devontae Adams is still there. I don't know if both of these guys are regretting their decisions at this point, but man, it's bad right now in Green Bay, and they're also hurt. So this number has climbed for Dallas. I think it was at 4.5. It's now at 5.5 on the road. Green Bay is always a difficult place for road teams to play, but I'm not sure where to go with this game, to be perfectly honest. Rashawn Gary got hurt in the matchup last week. I don't know if I can take a side just because Dallas will have those moments where they'll let teams hang around, but I don't know how you take the Packers here. Even as a long home dog where they've been historically great, this just isn't the same Packers team.
Yeah, I know. I don't hate to take the Packers. You're a Packers fan and you drink heavily. There's no way I would take the Packers in this game. Dallas is great defensively, off a bye. It's not that cold yet in Green Bay. It's not like you're getting one of these weather games where it's 5 degrees out and snowing sideways. The Cowboys should pound on the Packers. Again, I think sometimes we need to forget what we've known in the past to realize what we're looking at now. They're not good. The Packers are just not a good football team. You're going to tell me Dallas is going to win this game by a touchdown? 10 points? I don't always love Dallas because I agree with you, Ben. There are times with them where you're like, what is happening? Why are they leaving this team in the game? I do not think this is going to be one of those games. I think the Packers are just cooked. I think the Cowboys will go in there and win this game by 10 points or so.
So I'm with you for the most part. Dallas, they're the better team, but it feels like a game where it's 21-17. Just an ugly game. The Cowboys have played a lot of ugly games. Dak Prescott, him being back has been a massive boost for that offense. But if Ezekiel Elliott is going to get some snaps, to me, that lowers the actual offense of the Cowboys. They're better with Tony Pollard as the guy. If Zeke's back and is playing, I almost think that's the Cowboys' favor. That helps the Cowboys. That means you're getting some 2-yard runs up the gut. That means you're not using Tony Pollard and his explosiveness on the outside. I probably wouldn't touch this game. This is a game that I just don't feel comfortable with. But I might take the Packers at 5.5. That's a lot of points at home.
It is a lot of points, and a lot of books have already moved it once it got to 5.5 down to 5. But I also see a scenario where the public comes in very heavy on the Cowboys and bets this up to 6. And the books are basically begging for the Packers to win, because if you get up to 6, all of a sudden now you use the Cowboys in a teaser, move them down to just a pick 'em. And I could see a scenario, and I mentioned this a couple weeks ago in Buffalo, that either the Packers find a way somehow to win that game, or they just get blown out and it ended up being really none of the above. But Narrative Street, all of a sudden, Jones gets going again. Dillon had a solid game. Granted, it was against Detroit. It's a weird game. Very, very weird game. I have not placed a bet on either the total, which is currently sitting at either 43 or 42.5, or on the spread, but certainly a compelling matchup, even with Green Bay looking as bad as they've looked so far. So those are, I think, the 3 biggest games of the week. I have 4 bets that I have already placed for the week. Are you curious to hear what they are?
Yes, fire away.
Okay. Few of them we've already gone over. I took Tampa Bay when they were at -1 against Seattle. I know you guys are on the Seattle side, but if you get them at 3, we can go ahead and win this one together. So Tampa Bay -1 against Seattle. Again, I don't know if I would bet it at -2.5. I think where I got the line is the right side. Minnesota at Buffalo. I like the under. I got it at 48.5. Again, that number is also moved to 46. But depending on the status of Josh Allen, I think he's not playing. So if you can find it at 47, that's an even better number. But 46.5, I would still take the under if Keenum is instead of Josh Allen. We all in agreement on that?
Yeah, I can. I can get behind that. That's
okay.
Fair enough.
I have 2 bets on the Bears and the Lions. I have the Bears on the money line this week at home. They're now
you're all in. All right, I like it.
Bears money line at home. I don't love them as much as 3-point favorites. I got them minus 125 when they were at 1.5. I just preferred them on the money line because it's still the Bears, and that's still a bad defense that Chicago's throwing out there right now. Also, love the over at 46.5. I think that number has also moved as well. That might have been one of the biggest movers of the week, jumping on Chicago and Detroit's over between two atrocious defenses. Now, one thing to keep in mind, if the weather is bad at Soldier Field, keep an eye on those forecasts because you might be able to get a better number when everybody freaks out about it. If there's rain, if there's snow, some wind, I don't think it'll matter much because both these teams love to run. So you might be able to get a better number on the over depending on what the weather forecast looks like. So something to keep in mind. But everyone seems to be very much on play with the over between these two teams. As I mentioned, the Bears 3-0 in overs over their last 3 weeks, 3-0 on their team total. I don't think the Lions are going to be the team to slow them down, even though they did it to Green Bay last week. Are we in agreement there?
Yeah, it's fine. I would even take the Bears against the spread, but that's fine.
Yeah, I'm rolling. Dude, Ben, this is for you, man. We're agreeing.
Yeah.
Let's go Bears.
Love it. You love to see it. You really do. Final one. And again, this one is more playing the number, I think, than playing the team. The Monday night game. Washington, plus 10.5 on the road against Philadelphia. Eagles have been great, like until that game against Houston. And even then, for a team that had been terrible in the second half, despite their undefeated record, they pulled through and they got the win and they were able to make it really close to the cover, but ultimately didn't end up covering. Washington, for their flaws, and they have plenty, I think look like a competent football team right now. Wouldn't you guys agree? Heineke is getting the ball out quickly. He has very good receivers to throw to. The defense has played significantly better since the Bears game from a handful of weeks ago. Eagles are good, but in a division game in prime time, 10.5, I think that's too many points. I think Washington can at least make it a one-possession game by the time things are said and done.
I have concerns about this. I have learned to trust you, but I thought we were going to go another primetime game because I think the Niners are going to absolutely pummel the Chargers. But that's
should. They should. I don't know if they will, but they should.
Yeah, but I listen. I mean, it's worth riding with you on this because you've done a great job this year. But I have deep concerns about Washington in this. I get picture like, oh, it's halftime. It's 27-6. But who knows? You could be right. You could be right in the hang in there. Washington's a weird team.
I'm learning from you, Ben. Bet the number, not the team. I'm with you with the number 10.5. I am with you, and I'm one of the biggest Eagles. I'm the biggest Eagles guy on the show, hands down. Right? That's too large of a number in primetime divisional game. They're getting Curtis Samuel involved, Terry McLaurin. The Eagles are an amazing team. I do think they're a top 3 team in the NFL. But bet the number. I'm with you, Ben. You've taught me well.
When do you guys think the Eagles lose their first game?
None
None of us are expecting an undefeated regular season from them, are they? Are we? Because
No.
I'm not.
No.
I think they drop
I think they will lose
15-2.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think they lose to the Cowboys on the road. They'll lose some game they shouldn't, and then maybe there's maybe they split with the Giants or something, So I think they'll win 14, 15 games.
Okay. Washington, I will not be the place where they lose it, but I don't necessarily think it's going to be by more than 10.5 points.
Fair enough.
I think we're getting the right number here, boys. I really do.
All right, we're gonna ride with you. I gotta believe in you. I got faith.
All right. We'll see how much faith you have if we end up going 0-4 this week. But regardless, that
would be a tragedy.
Yeah, everyone can have a bad week or two.
All right. What is going on that people need to know about over at BetSided?
Yeah, big day today in the NHL with no NBA action going on. Also got some action in college football. So if you're looking for something to bet on today, we got previews for all 3 action games, as well as our best bets for the NHL slate from our guy Ian McMillan. Reed Wallach has the early read, which is live right now over on BetSided's YouTube channel. So make sure you guys check that out. Good college football slate again this week. We'll also find out the college football playoff results tonight. If you're looking for some more angles there. And of course, get ready for week 10, college football week 11, plenty of game previews, props, predictions, anytime touchdown bets, whatever you need to make sure that your betting card looks good to go. And I will be on Daily Bet Slip a little bit later on this week as well, 5:00 Eastern, right here on the BetSided YouTube channel.
Awesome. I love how the two sports leagues take different approaches. Like the NBA is like, listen, not going to play tonight. Got to get out there and vote. And the NHL's like, fuck that. Watch the games tonight. We got to play games. We got to get out there.
They're like, we need, if you're giving us a standalone island night with the Mac, thank you for this gift, NBA. Like we will take our opportunity to defend democracy another time.
And then there's also the flip side of this where the NHL does not play on Christmas Eve or on Christmas. And the NBA is like, nobody's celebrating this with their family. Nobody. You're going to watch a septuple header on ESPN. Hey, don't go anywhere. Jazz Blazers, 6:00. Like it cracks me up to no end. Like the NBA's got all these like no games on a voting day, but hey, Christmas, fuck the kids opening gifts because it's an early game. Knicks Sixers, and it's like, and by the way, it's like thanks NBA, thanks as a Knicks fan, thanks for ruining Christmas for me. I sit there and watch this shit. Watch them lose by 15 points. Nothing says Christmas tradition in New York like the Knicks getting booed off the court at the Garden. Okay, there's a bunch of angry people who had to show up on Christmas. Good time.
I can't argue that. That's relatively sold. That's well done.
I've had enough. All right, Heisler, thank you, man, for being here once again. And we'll see how we do with the Week 10 picks.
Yes. And Verderame, I will talk to you on Thursday for the Arrowhead Attic Batting Show, 11:00 Central. So if you guys come back and join us for that.
Absolutely. We'll be there.
See you, fellas.
See you later. All right, Holmes, what the hell's going on in your life?
Well, first off, how dare he bring up college football after what I went through as a Mizzou fan? Ben, that was very uncalled for. No. It was the refs, okay? I'm not a big blame the ref guy.
Oh, you're the worst now.
Oh, the fucking tackle box extended from Kansas City to St. Louis. What the hell? I mean, the guy got hit in St. Charles. It's bullshit. I get it. The rule of the law. Yeah, he got the punt off. I feel bad for the punter. Dude got wrecked. He probably broke his leg. I feel bad for the guy. But why are you punting? It's a live ball. What's the guy supposed to do? Ask him? Is he supposed to say, hey, punter, are you running? Are you going to try and throw it? Or are you going to kick it? He's got no idea. It's bullshit. They hate Mizzou. Somehow, North Carolina can get away with all this fucking bullshit classes that are fake. And then Mizzou's here like, we had one tutor. We're going to comply. No, Mizzou, you guys are banned for a year.
This little boy doesn't care about Mizzou. It's a trash factory. It is what it is.
I'm angry right now. I am thoroughly angry.
You know what?
I was at the game. I was sitting right there. So there's these seats we got very lucky. Bunker end zone. We're literally field level. We're where the cameramen basically are. So that happened right in front of me. I wasn't even mad at the time because I just go, stack it up there. Count it. Another Mizzou way to lose the game. 5th down. No, here's something new.
Yeah, it's a shame. I hear you. So that's one of the nice things about being a fan of teams I root for. Most of them, anyway, is like I never have to worry about the officials screwing us because, like the Knicks, they screw themselves. They don't have to worry about that. Like I can't remember the last time a Knicks fan was like, if the referees were on the level, we would. Knicks fans are so past that at this point. It's like the Knicks fans will blame anybody on the court. Like never. If you go on a Knicks site or whatever, a fan post, whatever it is, you will never find a Knicks fan who's like, it was the refs or it was the other team. It's always like, it's this a-hole on our team. And then it's just like a fight over like which guy it is on the Knicks that's screwing everybody. Nobody even looks at the other team. Right? Like when the Knicks lost to the Hawks the other night, blew a 22-point lead, ended up being blown out at home. I didn't see one Knicks fan who was like, DeJounte Murray, he's great, man. It was like, man, fuck Tom Thibodeau. Like, that was the entire, like, people are just so angry, and rightfully so. But what I was actually going to close with is on the flip side here. The Devils have been absolute, just a dog pile for a decade. The Devils now are 9-3, and to this point in the season, like, arguably the best team in hockey. I don't know what's happening. And maybe in 70 games, I'll look back and go, that was a nice, fun 12 games. I don't know. The young talent, off the charts. Like, not only winning, largely killing teams. Like, just completely outplaying them for most, if not all, of the game. And when they play really good teams, the games are closer, but they still win. I am emotionally just on the floor at this point. I don't know what's happening. Like, I was sitting there watching them on Saturday night. Excuse me. No, it was Saturday night to play Calgary. On Thursday night, they're in Edmonton. Edmonton, for people who don't know, very good team with the conference final last year. Very high-powered offensive attack. Devils are down 3-1 going into the third period. I'm like, all right, it's in Edmonton. Like, all right, probably not going to win this game. Fair enough. They've won whatever it is at this point, 6 in a row. They score a minute into the period, and then they're pressing the whole period. They're dominating the play. They can't score. 3 minutes left. They score 2 goals in 7 seconds and win the game. And it was like, I had to be peeled off the ceiling after the fourth goal to go 4-3. I was just blown away. The Devils haven't had a win like that literally since, like, I was out of college. So I don't know what to do with myself other than be very happy at the moment. They're 9-3. They got another game tonight, a very tough game against Calgary. Lucas points out Mackenzie Blackwood 3 to 6 weeks, Andre Palat 8 to 10 weeks are tough losses. Lucas, I hear you, man, but look, with Blackwood, they'll be all right because Vanacek's there. They should be okay. They should hold down the fort for a month. Palat, I agree with you, although Zetterlund has come up and played like Wayne Gretzky. So but this is where I'm at with this. Like, they're bringing up kids who you're like, who? And then the guy just comes in and just is blistering shots in left and right. And you're like, okay. It's the complete opposite of everything they've been for 10 years, where they bring in guys. You're like, this guy's going to be great. And he just sucks immediately. And he's terrible for the whole season. Now the Devils are like, I don't know, this guy out of the fourth row. And you're like, yeah, sure, bring this guy in. It's bang in the back of the net. So it's been a dream start. I hope that the dream continues. All right.
I've been to a couple of Devils games, by the way. They're fun. I've been to a couple of New Jersey Devils games. They're a good time. They weren't great when I went, but the stadium's beautiful. The fans are passionate. It was cool. I will give you that. My hockey fandom, I can be swayed. Okay. The Sixers used to own, or they do own, the New Jersey Devils, which is wild.
Same ownership group. Yeah.
But I lived in Philly, so I'm like, am I a Flyers guy or am I a Devils guy? I mean, Gritty's pretty cool though.
Gritty's the best part of that team.
100%. 100%. But he's pretty cool.
I hate the Flyers more than any other sports franchise, except for the Yankees, who can never lose enough. Oh God, I hope Aaron Judge goes somewhere else. Oh my God. I want that to happen.
He's heading to Oakland, Verderame.
He'll go to San Francisco. But look, man, I don't care if the A's lose every game for the next decade. The Yankees, when they lose, is great. And when they lose a guy in free agency, it's even better. Because all their fans are like, oh my God, how could we possibly lose him? We've got more money than God. And then you got to listen to Cashman. We got to be fiscally responsible out here. Oh my God, man. I'm here for all of it. If they lose him, I will live stream WFAN on my computer all day long. So I can just listen to these people like, that's it, Mike. I'm going to jump off the Empire State Building. That's it. I'm here. I'm here for it all. I will tell you a real quick story and we'll get out of here. So to your point about the Devils and the experience at the stadium, I saw them play the Penguins. I mean, I've been to probably 50-plus games, 60-plus games. So I can't even tell you what year it was. But it was probably like right around 2009. They're playing the Penguins, Crosby and Malkin, peak of their powers, like really good team at the time. Those are down 2-0 with like 8 minutes to go in the game. And I'm with my buddy, and we're up in a section 233. which they're called the crazies. Like these people have like jerseys that say 233 crazies, whatever. They're all into it. You do not sit up there in that section if you're a visiting fan. 2 Penguins fans, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever, sitting up there. Wife's totally fine. She's cool. Nobody's giving her a hard time. They're both wearing Crosby jerseys. The guy gets up during a stoppage and play with 8 minutes left and just starts goading the entire Devils fan base, right? Now, mind you, Devils really good at this point. So, like, this is actually like a legitimate, like a game, like could sway the division one way or the other. I think Devils even won the division. Guy is just obnoxiously in people's, and he's hammered. Like, he's hammered drunk. In people's faces, yelling, screaming, whatever. So finally, this one dude in the Devils jersey gets up, who's probably pushing 3 bills, gets up and is like, shut the fuck up. Sit down and shut. Goes, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Gets out in the aisle and he just starts like gesticulating at this guy. Devils fan walks out and kicks this guy right in the crest of the jersey as hard as he can. Sends him head over heels down the aisle backwards, man, like down the staircase. Thought he killed him. Guy goes down the staircase, must have gone down 30 stairs, slams into a partition at the end of this thing, is borderline unconscious. And the security guard grabs this guy and is like, all right, get out of here. You're causing trouble. Doesn't even go after the guy who kicked this guy in the chest. Is throwing this guy out. The girl, the wife, girlfriend, whatever, she's like crying. This guy's name is apparently Ronnie. She's like, Ronnie, you okay? People now are just wailing shit at this guy. Like his unconscious body. Popcorn, beer, water. I mean, anything they've got. The Devils then proceed to score 3 goals and win the game. And I thought to myself, if that guy had still been here, like if they had somehow allowed him to stagger back up, they would have killed this guy. Like that would have been like it. I don't even know what happened to him other than that he got taken out of there and was basically comatose. Love Devils fans. Love it. Come up in the wrong section, he gets sent home on a stretcher. Welcome to Jersey. That's a Devils game. That man who kicked him should be in prison, but that's neither here nor there. Oh, I literally could have killed the man. It was unbelievable. All right, we got to get out of here. For Sterling Holmes, I am Matt Verderame. Make sure you check out all the videos here on the Sack in the Box YouTube channel. Please subscribe and give it a like if you can. Really appreciate it. Trying to grow the community as much as possible. All right, thank you so much, and we will talk to you again on Sunday. Myself and Ian McMillan back to preview all the Week 10 action.